Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Good morning, everyone. Today we shall move on to a new Rupa, which we call the element of nutriment. We call it, in Pali we call it Oja, and sometimes we also call it Ahara, Ahara Rupa or Oja. There are many things to be discussed with regard to the Aharaja Rupa. There's a different term. So I shall bring an explanation on this at the end of the, I have given it at the end of the handout, but I think we shall start with that. So the introduction, the main explanation, the definition of Ahara or Oja would be, there is when the four great elements come together, when they occur, a certain different element appears with them, or occurs with them, arises with them, apart from color, taste and smell. So far we have discussed, when the four great elements come together, there happen to be a certain color which is sensitive to the eye, and a smell which is sensitive to the nose, and a taste which is sensitive to the tongue. So apart from these three, another new element appears with them, which has the ability to directly support or strengthen the animate bodies, and also while they are inside the body actually, have the ability to strengthen the animate bodies, and also to produce new Rupa Kalapas, new Kalapas, which would in turn which would strengthen the body. So this new element is called Oja. So Oja has two main functions. It directly strengthens the animate bodies, and sometimes, and also it creates new Kalapas which are capable in strengthening or giving strength to the animate bodies. So we are going to discuss about this. Now if you think this as a Kalapa, we have the four great elements. Then we have color, smell, taste, and the nutriment element. Which we call Oja. Oja. They were called Vanna, respectively, Gandha, and Rasa. Vanna, Gandha, and color, smell, and taste. So altogether, there are 8 Rupas in a one cluster. The number may increase, but this is the most basic type of a cluster. So we call it Avinibhoga Rupas, because all the Kalapas, according to the Theravada commentaries, contains these 8. So this Oja, this will be our discussion topic today. This Oja has the ability to strengthen the bodies, either directly or by producing new Kalapas, which has that ability. Now another synonym for Oja is Ahara. A synonym for Oja is Ahara. So first we have to understand the difference between, there are a few terms where we can find a word called Kabalikara Ahara. Kabalikara Ahara. Then we have another word called Ahara Rupa, which is synonymous with Oja. This will be our topic today, Oja Rupa. Then we have another term called Aharaja Rupa. Then, better we go for Kalapa first. Aharaja Kalapa. Then Aharaja Rupa. These are the 4 terms that we should be able to distinguish. Kabalikara Ahara means the food that we consume. Kavalikara Ahara is made out of Utuja Rupas, heat-borne matter. So normally we consume food from outside, like there's we doesn't consume our own body normally. So Kavalikara Ahara is constituted with Utuja Rupa Kalapas, which we'll be discussing later in this series. Then Ahara Rupa means the nutriment element which is found in every Kalapa. This is the Ahara Rupa. Ahara Rupa. This is the Ahara Rupa. So Kavalikara Ahara contains Ahara Rupa. Kavalikara means we make a lump before we eat. Normally in the Asian tradition, they use their hands while eating, especially in India and Sri Lanka also. So you used to make a lump of food or lump of rice. So so making such a lump is called Kabali Karoti. So Kavalikara Ahara means the food that is eaten having made into a lump. So normally then the thing is, now this ahara, this food that we consume, now this is the food. This food contains the nutriment element. This nutriment element is called Ahara Rupa. But keep in mind, in some places, actually I would say the most of the places, in the literature, the word Kavalikara Ahara is also used, referring to this nutriment element. But grammatically, as we explained in the Paramattha Dipani, we can use this term Kavalikara Ahara to denote the food that we consume, the hard, the gross food. We are not talking about kalapas or certain kind of an element or certain kind of a quality within that. Ahara Rupa, when we refer to Ahara Rupa, it denotes this element which is capable in strengthening our bodies directly or by producing some other kalapas which has that same ability. So these are two terms. So when we say Kabali, in this lecture, when I call Kavalikara Ahara, I'm referring to the food, and the Ahara Rupa or Oja, referring to the nutriment element. Then this Oja, now if this is a Kalapa, this is a Kalapa, there's Oja in it, there's Oja or Ahara. So out of this Ahara, a new element is born, a new Kalapa is born. So this Kalapa are called, it's better to not to show the line because otherwise it seems like it appears out of it. New Kalapa appears due to this Oja, due to the Oja of this Kalapa effecting. So these Kalapas are called Aharaja Kalapa. Please keep your attention at this Ja. Ahara Rupa and Aharaja. Aharaja means born out of Ahara. Ahara means the nutriment element. So this nutriment element is capable in producing new Kalapas. These Kalapas, material clusters, these clusters are called Aharaja Kalapas. We know that according to Theravada tradition, Rupa always appears in clusters. They are found in units. So that is considered the smallest units in the material world. The smallest unit or material unit or cluster that is not dividable anymore is called a Kalapa. So when that Kalapa is born out of Oja, that is called a Aharaja Kalapa. It's called a Aharaja Kalapa. Then now if you think about this Aharaja Kalapa, this Aharaja Kalapa has 8 Rupa, 4 great elements and so forth. These Rupas are called Aharaja Rupa. Rupas in Aharaja Kalapa are called Aharaja Rupa. Otherwise we can say the Rupas that is made out of, because when a Kalapa is born, it means a cluster of Rupas are there. So these Rupas are ultimately born out of Oja or Ahara, this element. So that's why this J comes. Aharaja Rupa. Rupa that is born out of Ahara. So Rupa, Kalapa that is born out of Ahara. Right? So Aharaja Rupa means the materials that are born out of appearing due to the Ahara, owing to the Ahara, and their Kalapa is called Aharaja Kalapa. So see the difference, Aharaja Kalapa and Aharaja Rupa and Ahara Rupa. Ahara doesn't contain the Ja part, Ja prefix, suffix, so it denotes the quality, the element which is found in the material stuff. And Kabalikara Ahara means the normal food that we eat. So that's the difference. So now when we are talking about Ahara Rupa, we are not talking about the food. We are talking about a certain kind of a material attribute or quality. A Rupa, a subtle Rupa that exists within this Ahara, which is capable of supporting our bodies. So that's why we consume food, due to this existence of this nutriment element. If the nutriment element doesn't exist, Ahara is not capable of supporting our body. That's how we understand this term. Then, so these Oja have this Oja that we have discussed. Now, this is the Kalapa. This Kalapa has 4 great elements. GE, then we have Vanna, color, Gandha, smell, Rasa, the taste, and we have Oja, Ahara. Not Aharaja, Ahara. This Oja has the ability to support the body in 2 ways. Either it can support or strengthens our body directly strengthening. The other way, strengthening by arousing new rupas. Strengthening by producing new Kalapas or Rupas. So these Kalapas, how do you call them? Aharaja Kalapas. So that's what we discussed here. Now these Kalapas, we're talking about these Kalapas or these Rupas. So this Ahara, Oja, has the ability to produce new Rupa Kalapas, which can strengthen by strengthening the body by producing new Kalapas. These new Kalapas has the ability to support our body. At the same time, Oja itself directly can support the human or animal bodies or the animate bodies. So there are 2 functions of this Rupa. I have given it at the later part of the handout. If you go to 2.107, second page, we can recognize 2 types of functions of the Oja Rupa. Supporting animate bodies by producing Aharaja Rupas and directly supporting animate bodies. Right? Directly supporting animate bodies. Out of the 2, the second is considered as foremost. So that is why in Patthana, in Nidesa Usta Patthana, we find only this functioning. If you go into the next paragraphs under 2.107, first is the function of production, because it produces. Now, if this is the body, if this is the human body, now we have Oja in a Kalapa. This Oja produces new Kalapas. They are called Aharaja Kalapas. At the same time, there are many other Rupas in the body. So what these Kalapas do is that these Aharaja Kalapas strengthen the remaining Kalapas, and also they strengthen each other. They even strengthen the Kalapa which produced them. Right? At the same time, this Oja is also capable of directly supporting the remaining Rupas and also the Kalapas they produced. So this support, now the support given, direct support is written in yellow color. This is the direct support. The support given through Aharaja Kalapas was written in white color, shown in white color. Now you can see. Now it produces Aharaja Rupas, Aharaja Kalapas. This Oja produces Aharaja Kalapas. These Kalapas supports the entire body. At the same time, the Oja itself can support the entire body. So in the Nirdesa Pali of the Nirdesa of the Patana, what has been mentioned, if you remember the Patana, reciting of Patana, I think you are familiar with the term Kabalikaro Aharo Imassa Kayas Ahara Pachena Pachu. I have given it under the 2.107. Kabalikaro Aharu Imassa Kayas Ahara Pachena Pachu. The nutriment, the food element, the nutriment element, sorry, not the food, nutriment element supports the body, imassa kayas, supports this body, gives a support to the body in terms of ahara pachaya. So here the word kabalikara ahara is being used for the nutriment element, not to the food. That's why I mentioned the kabalikara ahara word is referring to the nutriment element, but it also can be used for the food. So for the easiness of the convenience of the for the convenience of transferring the meaning, I use this term kabalikara ahara in this chapter referring to the food, but the term has been used for the nutriment element as well. So in Patana, instead of mentioning about the Aharaja Kalapas in the Nirdesa, in the Patinirdesa you can find that Aharaja Rupa is mentioned clearly. So instead of saying that Oja produces Aharaja Rupa and supports the body, this procedure. Now Oja produces Aharaja Rupa, this is the first functioning, right? This is the first functioning, and this is number 2, produces Aharaja Kalapa and then supports the body. Instead of saying that, Patana mentions about the other type of strengthening. That is, we can call number 3, it directly supports the body, right? So therefore, Lady Shadow mentions that the second is the foremost out of the 2 functionings. So that's the introduction for the Oja. Now Oja is a material element that is found in each and every Kalapa according to the Theravada commentaries, and this element, while it is inside the body of animate beings, produces new kalapas which are called aharaja kalapas and supports the body through them, or either it directly supports the entire body of the living beings. Right. So what is the functioning? 2.101, page number 1, 2.101. Second paragraph. Beings in the karma realm cannot sustain without the support given by Oja. That's also a fact. I think there are some special cases where beings have been living without food for a long time. There are very special cases which have, some claim that it has been proven. So anyhow, but normally we know that we cannot sustain without the food. They mainly gain their element of nutriment by consuming food. So we are talking about the Oja first. The Oja, nutriment element. Beings cannot sustain without this nutriment element. So we gain this nutriment element by eating food, right? While food digests, its subtle essence called rasa dhatu comes out of it and circulates within the body via veins. Now this is how the Theravadians explain this. Now food goes into the stomach, and during its digestion process, a certain kind of essence comes out of this food. This essence is called rasa dhatu. R-A-S-A-D-H-A-T-U, rasa dhatu. This rasa dhatu should not be misunderstood with the rasa rupa. Rasa rupa is a quality that is sensitive to the tongue. Here we are talking about a certain kind of an essence which is extracted from the food during the digestion, process of digestion. So this rasa dhatu circulates in the entire body through veins. So rasa dhatu is rich with oja, and it should not be confused with rasa rupa. It's rich with this oja. It has a lot of this nutriment element. Oja in the rasa dhatu, having reacted, or having, we can call having a certain kind of a reaction, or a certain kind of connection, or connection with the they interaction is better to say, having interacted, not reacted, interacted. That's better, the word better used to interaction. So having interacted with the oja in the kalapas of the body produces new material clusters. So it means now this is the, if we take this is the human body. Now this is the stomach. Food is inserted into the stomach, right? So during the process of digestion, a certain element called rasa dhatu comes out of it. This rasa dhatu circulates in the entire body via veins. It's called rasa dhatu. This is food. So this rasa dhatu is full with oja. It contains oja. It has oja. So while this rasa dhatu circulates in the body, there are rupa kalapas within the body which contains oja. It also has another oja. This oja is taken from outside. This is the inside oja, internal oja. What happens is, these two ojas, the oja of the rasa dhatu, which I wrote in white color, oja in the rasa dhatu, interacts with the oja in the body. It interacts. So due to this interaction, this is the oja in the rasa dhatu, which I drew in white color, right? And also the oja in the kalapas of the body, right? The kalapas of the body. They interact, and what happens is, this oja of the rasa dhatu produces new kalapas. These kalapas are called ahāraja kalapas. At the same time, the oja of the internal oja of the body, which already existed before we ate the food, so with whom it had the interaction, the oja also of the body also produces new kalapas. They are also called ahāraja rupas. They are also called ahāraja rupas. Right, this is the process. I shall explain about them in detail when we come to the lesson of ahāraja rupas. There will be a special lecture on this about the ahāraja rupas. So far, we are talking about the ahara or the oja, the element, the nutriment element which produces the ahāraja rupas. Right? So oja in the body, having reacted with the oja, then oja in the rasa dhatu, the fourth line of the second paragraph, fourth line. Oja in the rasa dhatu, having interacted with the oja in the kalapas of the body, produces new material clusters. Right? The oja in the bodily kalapas also to produce new material clusters, having interacted with the oja in the rasa dhatu. So both of them produces new rupas. These newly produced clusters are called ahāraja kalapas. They are called ahāraja kalapas. And rupas found in them are called ahāraja rupas. They are called ahāraja rupas. Ahāraja rupas strengthen the body, and this strengthening facilitates smooth growing of animate bodies, smooth growing of the beings. So these two kalapas, these kalapas are capable of strengthening the body. So this strengthening should not be understood as the strength that we normally possess due to our physical appearance. This is a certain kind of energy that is given to the body. I think in biology we attribute this to ATP or something, some sort of mechanical thing that exists in the body which gives us the strength. So according to the Theravada tradition, this oja, which is temporarily, this is produced by the food, gives us that strength. And when our food is lesser in our body, so we feel hunger and our body starts to get weaker. So this strength that is given to our body. Now, when we have eaten food after starving for some time, we get a certain kind of we feel that energy. So that energy is given to the body. That the energy is the functioning of the Aharaja Rupas. That's how we understand the Aharaja Rupas. And due to this strengthening, we are able to perform our day-to-day activities properly, and also it facilitates the smooth growing of our bodies. Then we move into the next paragraph, 2.102. The Buddha has mentioned that an embryo and a fetus sustains with the help of the food consumed by the mother. That's also obvious. It doesn't consume by its own food. There's no way that it consumes food. So it sustains with the nutriment gained by the mother. So the rasa dhatu, which is extracted from the mother's food, while it circulates in the entire body, it also moves into the fetus or the embryo through the fallopian pipes, and then it produces new kalapas in the child's body, the unborn child's body. Right, it has been mentioned in the sutra. Yanchassa bunjati mata annam panancha bhojanam tena so tattaya peti matu kuchi gato naro. So that's what is mentioned there. Then it's mentioned in the Paramatha Dipani that after the food, the nutriment element which is found in the food, it is the thing that interacts with the oja in the body. It is what is found in the rasa dhatu. So this oja in the food, even before it has been extracted during the process of digestion, this oja in the food is capable. Now this it contains oja even before it was extracted as rasa dhatu. This oja is capable in directly supporting the body as soon as it enters into the stomach. And it also mentions in some sub-commentaries, it doesn't need to come into the stomach. Even as soon as it is kept in the mouth, it starts to react. It starts to support the body. That's why even before we digest, we put some food into our mouth while we are very much hungry, we get energized. So the explanation is it starts to affect the entire body as soon as it is kept in the mouth. Right? So I shall be explain this when we come to the Aharaja Kalapas. These explanations and the different opinions that the teachers have about these Aharaja Kalapas. It's a very nice lecture. Then so according to Paramatha Dipani, as soon as it enters the stomach, it starts to strengthen the body. Having quoted from a sentence from the Patthana, Paramatha Dipani states that support given by oja, states that the bodies support, the oja supports the bodies of karma beings from the moment of their rebirth. So now it's clear now. Now this food, the oja in the food produces new kalapas and supports, and that oja directly supports the body. Then the oja in the body, having interacted with the oja which was taken from outside, produces new kalapas and supports the body. And this oja which is found in these bodily kalapas also have a certain effect to the entire body. So there are 4 types of support now. Now if we I think it can lead to some confusion. So we'll clarify this point. Now this is the oja taken from outside, and this is the oja which is written in green color, which was already found in the body. So this oja which was taken from outside has 2 functions: produces aharaja kalapas and supports, and also directly supports the body. The same way, the oja in the body, bodily kalapas, also having interacted with the oja from outside. So this oja and both of them are unable to produce new rupas before their interaction. That is an opinion of one teacher. They both have to interact with each other. So according to some, this as soon as it enters, it is capable of producing rupas. Some teachers say only this oja produces rupas, but another opinion is both the rupas, internal and external, after it has entered into the body, having interacted, produces aharaja kalapas, right? So I'll go with that explanation. Produces aharaja kalapas and supports the body. And this oja is also, to a certain extent, not completely, directly supports the body. So there are 4 types of, so mainly there are 2, supporting the body through producing aharaja kalapas and directly supporting. And this support can be found in 2 types of oja. Oja that is taken from the outside, that is found in the food, and also the oja which was already there in our bodies. So ladies I would suggest that this support of the oja directly to the body, which is given by the oja in our body, is found from the moment of patisandhi. From the moment of patisandhi, from the moment of rebirth, this can be found. I have given you the references from the Paramattha Deepani. Then 2.14. The Brahmas, oja is found in all the rupas, upakalapas, and even in the Brahma world, according to the commentaries of the Theravadians. So, but the thing is, oja found in the Brahma realm does not support their bodies. It's something which is very strange. Then the question comes, why should they exist? So that's why Mulatika suggests that we should not, we have to exclude this rupa from the Brahma realm. So anyway, it doesn't strengthen, according to the commentary, it doesn't strengthen or it doesn't produce any ahara rupas in the Brahma realm. So how do their bodies sustain? So for the sustainment, even of the karma beings, oja is just a one factor. It's a vital factor, but it's just a one factor. The support given by the jivitendriya, the life faculty, which we will discuss when we come to the Kammaja chapter, lessons of Kammaja. And also the support given by the mind to the body, which we shall discuss when we come to the mentalities, is also vital for our bodies to sustain. So jivitendriya and the consciousness alone is capable in sustaining the body of a Brahma without the food. So neither of these supports are found in the Brahma realm. None of these supports are found in the Brahma realm. Only the jivitendriya rupa is supporting, and the mentalities of the bhavanga chitta are supporting, and also the kamma would also directly support their lives. So the thing is, their bodies contain abundant of kammaja rupas, not unlike others, unlike our bodies, which is filled with utuja rupas. Their kammaja rupa proportion is very high. So therefore, their bodies can, and also the next reason is their jivitendriya was produced by a very highly developed kamma, that is a mahagata kamma, which has reached to the level of absorption. So that jivitendriya has a vast capacity, higher capacity. So it is capable of sustaining the Brahma bodies for eons, even without the support given by the food. And also the 3 types of food, mano sanchetana, chetana, phassa, and consciousness, which is found in the bhavanga mental clusters, is also capable of sustaining their lives or bodies for a longer period. So those mental food is also produced by a kamma that has reached the sublime level. So according to Mula Tika, oja is not found in the Brahma realm, and the same to be applied with regard to the devas and hell beings and petas of the kama realm. They also can sustain without food for longer periods because their kamaja rupas are abandoned in their bodies. So jivitendriya can support their bodies without the food for a longer period, but they need the food. They need food, right? Unlike the Brahmas who can sustain without food. Then 2.105, according to the commentaries of Theravada, except the Mula Tika, oja is found in all sorts of kalapas, but there is a quantitative difference. Oja is lesser in certain kalapas, like the kalapas of air or smoke, and it is found abundantly in rich food like ghee, honey, and so forth. It is mentioned that Sudha Bhojana of the deities has abundant level of amount of oja, very rich type of oja. So their gap of duration between meals is longer than that of humans. It is mentioned in the Tavatimsa realm, deities eat once 100 years according to the human lifespan. The thing is, their oja is capable of sustaining their bodies for longer periods, and also their Jivitindriya is also giving a very huge contribution for that. Then it's also mentioned Theravada books that not only the food consumed but the food applied on the skin and injected into the body can directly strengthen animate bodies and produce new aharaja kalapas. It's not only consuming, sometimes even the food that is been applied on the body and also food that has been injected can also produce new rupas, aharaja rupas, and strengthen the body. But the application, I don't think that the support is given as much as the food that is being consumed, but somehow there is a certain support according to Theravada tradition. Yeah, so these are the points that I would like to discuss. And then when we are talking about the Kabalikara Ahara, I mentioned in the beginning Kabalikara Ahara, which I refer to the food that we consume. It's made out of utuja kalapas. It's made out of utuja kalapas normally, the food. But you have to keep in mind, in some occasions, beings consume all types of rupas as their food. That is, while devouring animals alive, while they are eaten alive. So all 4 types of food enters into the stomach, but when the essence is taken out, that essence is made out of utuja rupa. So in general, we mention that food is made out of utuja kalapas, right? And then the term, if you go to 2.109, aharaja rupa is called oja since it protects the animate body it is in, and which is its dependence, and produces new kalapas known as aharaja rupas. The first definition you can make by looking at the definition sentence. Then the next point is the mass bodies of living beings. The mass of the bodies of living beings increases due to consuming food. So we become fat or taller due to proper nutrition. So that is not the increasing of the mass is not due to aharaja rupas. Increasing of mass is not due to aharaja rupas. That is a transformation of the food into body particles. We shall discuss about this in detail when we come to the aharaja rupa lessons. So it's a transformation. I have mentioned this earlier also. Transformation of utuja rupas into body parts. Even scientifically we know that our bodies, parts of the body are made out of electrons, protons, neutrons, and quarks that in the food that we consume. So what the aharaja rupas does is it strengthens our body. It gives a certain energy which we can experience when we have had a good meal, right? So these are the points that I would like to discuss about the oja. Oja is another element found in the together with the 4 great elements in any kalapa according to Theravada commentaries. It is not found in the Brahma world as the opinion in the opinion of the Mulatika. Then we have 4 types of terms that we have to understand. Kabalikara ahara refer to the food. Ahara rupa is the nutriment element. In some places, in most of the places, Kabalikara ahara can also be used to referring to this nutriment element. Then aharaja kalapas are the kalapas that are produced by this nutriment element. Then aharaja rupa are the rupas of these newly produced kalapas. Then there are 2 types of support given by the oja. Directly strengthening the bodies and strengthening the bodies by producing aharaja kalapas, right? I think we understood that clearly. Then not only the nutriment in the food supports our bodies, but also in the oja that is found in the body from the rebirth moment also has the capacity to support our bodies. So the production of Kaharaja kalapas is only after the interaction between this internal and external oja. And also oja supports the body only while it is inside the body. According to Theravadians, no support is given to inanimate bodies. So oja, even though oja is found in each and every object, I think you are aware that some creatures are able to eat certain stuff that we don't eat and still they can sustain. And there's a very famous world record made by a person who has eaten entire plane, and who was able to digest steel and glass even, right? So it shows that those food also contains certain kind of a element of nutriment. So it is found in each and every Kalapa according to Theravadians, but certain Kalapas have lesser oja compared to others, as the Theravadians explain. So the support is given from the oja that is taken from outside, and also the oja which is already inside the body. So both types of ojas have two types of function: supporting the body by producing aharaja kalapas, and directly supporting the living bodies. Support of oja is found only in the karma realm and also in the living bodies, animate bodies. Yeah. So, and out of the two, as explained in the Patthana, the direct support is more prominent and also given the foremost place within the Theravada tradition. So I would conclude the lecture. So this shows that this oja shows that how our body is depending on causes. Our bodies are unable to sustain without the support given by this oja. It shows that bodies are not self-sustaining. They are not capable in sustaining by themselves. So it shows the fragileness of these bodies. It is also a pathway to understand the non-selfness and also the impermanence and also the suffering that encounters while we have to find the food. So it is also, for the monks, it is also considered as one of the 8 Sangvega Vattus, Ahara Gavitti Dukkhaṃ, the suffering that we have to encounter in order to sustain our bodies. But it's also applicable to lay people, because for instance, if we want to have rich food, we have to buy them. In order to buy them, we have to have a certain income. To have a proper income, we have to have a proper job, occupation. For that, you have to study for many years. So in order to sustain our bodies properly, healthily, we have been studied for 12, 13 years in our colleges. During that time, our parents did support us, but when we grew up, we have to find our own living and own food. So for that, we have spent. So when you are eating food, or when we are having healthier food and having a healthier body, please consider that this is attained by a huge sacrifice. Like, we have spent lots of years studying in colleges, some in universities, and also doing occupation jobs in order to gain the money which gives us the ability to have rich food, proper food, nutritious food in order to sustain our bodies. So the support given by oja is backed by a lot of effort, lot of hardship, suffering, and it opens the door. Because if our bodies were capable to sustain without food, none of these efforts were needed. Right? You may need that effort to gratify our senses then, not for the sustenance of the body, if the body could grow in its own. So this oja, topic of oja, shows that how fragile our bodies and how weak we are. How much strong you may be, or maybe a bodybuilder or the Iron Man in the world, but still there is a certain limit that you can run or you can live without the food. Even the strongest man in the world would not be able to sustain for few days without food, and he would get weaker and his cells will die out one day. So it shows that even a man who is truly strong still need the support of that oja, of that nutriment. And that nutriment is not obtained easily. For devas, it may appear due to their karma, as long as their karma is prevailing, is supporting. But for us, for the beings who have to find their own living, they have to work hard. Now, there are two types of beings according to the Theravada tradition: Kamma Palupajivi, then Utthana Palupajivi. So Kamma Palupajivi means they obtain their food by their karma, mainly the devas. Utthana Palupajivis are mainly humans who have to find their living or find their food having worked. none of us is going to get food due to our karma. So we have to work for that. So why is that why that is necessary? Because the nature of our bodies. If our bodies could sustain, now we have to eat 2-3 times per day. Devas normally eat once in 100 years. So the nature of our bodies is responsible for this phenomenon. So due to that, we have to work hard and we have to find our food few times per day. And if for a monk who doesn't have any money, either if he's lucky if the devotees are supporting him, that happens by chance or because of his karma, or due to the generosity of the people who are in the area he's living around, the people who are around him, or otherwise he has to work hard, go for pindapata in order to find the food. Because we know as monks, in some occasions while we live in pindapata, you keep on going and you don't get the enough food. When you don't get the enough food, you still keep on going just for your sustaining. So in a Buddhist country, I have experienced some occasions that I just kept on going for pindapata, just in order to get the enough food for for the sustaining of that day. So imagine during the Buddha's time when the society was not entirely Buddhist, and the number of monks was higher than this. So, and also you see in Myanmar the number of monks are very higher, so it's quite difficult to have a proper meal just by going for pindapata. So those days when the Buddha was alive and the lifestyles were not that much luxurious like today, surely there were a lot of hardship that monks would have faced in order to obtain the food. Maybe Buddha would have gained it because of his popularity and he's been the master. But for other monks, surely there must be lots of monks who suffered this, the way of finding proper food, enough food. So it's considered as one of the, and also think about now as a monk, we have to think now in order to find this food, you have to we have to go into the villages, we have to encounter all the dirt in the roads of those countries, especially in ancient days, and also we have to step on mud because we are not allowed to wear slippers even while we are going for pindapata, and also to get exposed to the sun rays, and also sometimes get wet with the rain. Due to rain. So all this hardship is obtained in order to find food. If our bodies were able to sustain for at least for 10 days without food, think about it. If it was able to sustain for 10 days without food, we have to go for pindapata every 10 days. So it would have saved a lot of our days, lot of our time. Now even while you are in a hostel or studying somewhere, think that we have to, every day, twice a day, we have to, as a nun or a monk, you have to go to the dining hall. That is a must. Some may skip meals in terms of their in terms of health habits. I'm not sure whether it's proper or not. Anyway, but still, at least every two days, we have to be there in the dining hall to consume our food. Otherwise, we are unable to practice. Right. So the support given by the oja to the body shows that the hardship of the karma realm. And even the devas, there are certain devas who indulge in sensual pleasures and forget to consume their food and suddenly die and born in the lower realms, maybe in the fourfold realms or in the human realm. They are called Kidda Padusika. So they forget because due to their enjoyments, gratification of sensual pleasures, gratification of the senses, they forget to have their meal at the proper time. And also the attachment to the food is not, now rasa is a strong attachment to our food, the taste, and also the nutriment, the nutritious nature of the food. So we go for rich food. We crave to have food that which are healthier and also which gives lots of energy. So there are certain foods that even eating a small amount would give us a lot of energy, especially while we are doing sports. We do get such type of energizers. So the craving for nutriment is also quite stronger in ourselves. So we know that when we grow up, especially when we are able to restrain our senses, instead of going for the tastier food, we may go for the nutritious food. It's also a sort of a craving in some sense, but with wisdom also, Going for the nutritious food could happen with wisdom. I don't deny that fact, because only when we have healthier bodies we are able to practice properly. So it is a wise person's decision, just go for the nutritious food. But at the same time, please keep in mind, it can be a defilement that if we adore our bodies as more than what is needed, and also if we are attached to our health, or if we crave for such a healthier life. So what we are supposed to do is we have to maintain a healthier body just for the sake of our living or for the practice in terms of Buddhist spirituality. I'm not saying that it is compulsory for lay people, because they are allowed to have gratify their senses and to have beautiful figures. But for monks and nuns, what they are supposed to do is, that's why we just contemplate. Yavadeva imassakaya satitya yapana, just for the purpose of maintaining this body. So health is necessary. So we should not be going after healthier food. We'll try our best to find them, and if we happen to get them, we better consume them rather than going for the tastier food. But it's very difficult for monks and nuns to distinguish if they are living under certain conditions. But under supportive conditions, they will be able to have that good food habits easier. So that will be our lecture. So this Oja also gives lots of insights to about our life, the weakness of our body, and also about our craving, and also it gives us some about our health habit. It also gives insights about our health habits. Yeah. So we are supposed to handle it wisely. That's the message that we have to take from this. Yeah. So I will conclude the lecture and give the opportunity to the Q&A session.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu. So hello everyone. So as usual, if you have any question, you can raise your hand or you can put your question in the chat box. Hi Bhante, I have a question regarding the information you give here in the according to Mulatika. Oja is not found in the bodies of Brahma.
Yes.
So because last time we talked about the Asanya right? And you said that according to Mulatika, then they only have 5 rupas as the Avinipoka. So is this information here in this lecture, it refers to all of the Brahmas, not just the Asanya Sattva?
All Brahmas. All the Brahmas. All the Brahmas do not eat food, and there is no support given by food to their bodies, and also the Oja found in their bodies do not support their bodies. This is a common phenomenon for the entire Rupavachara realm.
I see. So does that mean that for the Rupa realms, then they only have 7 Rupas?
No. According to commentaries, Rupa realm has Oja, but there is no support given. But according to the Mulatika, Oja is not found, Gandha and Rasa also not found in the entire Brahma realm. So according to Mulatika, is 5 Rupas in the Rupa realm, in a one cluster. But according to the commentaries, it contains 8, but they don't perform their functions.
I see. So according to Rupa, then the entire Brahma realm, there are only 5 Rupas.
Mulatika, yes, according to Mulatika.
I see. Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Okay. It's a quite nice argument what he's bringing. If it is found, Buddha would have mentioned, regardless whether it's performing its function or not. So if it is existing, regardless of the function, it should be mentioned. It's a very good argument. And because we go into Yamaka and Dhatukata, we find that it has been excluded. Rasa and Gandha is excluded from the Rupa realm.
But it's only for Asanya Sattva, right, Bhante?
No, if you think about Rupavachara realm, Rupa Dhatu, how many Dhatu Ayatana? We have only Chakku, Sota, and we have Rupayatana, and we have Dhammayatana and Manayatana, 5. Rupa Dhatu is considered 5 Dhatu and 5 Ayatana. They purposefully exclude Gandha, Rasa, they purposefully Jivha and Pottabba, Kaya all are excluded.
Okay.
If you look into the Dhatu Katha, please refer to the Rupa Dhatu. There's a word called Rupa Dhatu. Katihi Ayatanehi Katihi Dhatuhi, it says 5 only.
Right. Okay, thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yeah, the next question is, Bhante, in the Hindu tradition, what is the significance of making lumps of food before putting in the mouth?
I think that is for the easy consuming. I think. I'm not sure. It is done in Sri Lanka also. I don't know any reason for that. That has been that even monks are supposed to make a lump before they put into the mouth. It has been a tradition. I don't know any specific reason for that.
I see. Okay, thank you, Bhante.
And it is considered by the Buddha as one of the customs that monks have to follow. We should not make it. It's okay. We should not make our rice like a tube, or we should not. The lump we are making, we should not make it bigger than a certain amount. Normally, it says that monks are supposed to make a lump before eating.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. The next question is, Bhante, doesn't the type of job as well as the ability to make much or less money have something to do with the karma?
Sometimes yes, but it's not always. In most of the cases, due to our lack of effort and due to our diligence, all of them play a role. So when we say karma has two types of karmas that gives a strange, which act in a strange phenomenon and gives us good and bad results, and also effects of our work. Like if we work diligently, we'll be able to be successful. If we are lazier, we'll not be able to have a proper living. So sometimes even the person has, if you think about the Mahajana, the Setti, the rich merchant in Rajagaha, he had the potency, he had the karma to become the number one rich person in the country, but in the end, due to his negligence, he ended up being a beggar. So therefore, in some cases, karma does have a huge role in our income, but the most contribution is given by the actions that we do, our choices in the present life.
Thank you, Bhante. Okay.
So for your question, Dr. Ryan, it says I was checking in the Dhatu Katha, Rupa Bhavu. So it says the Rupa Bhava, Panchahi Kandehi, Panchahi Ayatanehi, Attahi Dhatuhi Sanghita. So these five ayatana are Chakku, Sota, Rupa, Mana and Dhamma. So it excludes Gandha, Rasa, and as the commentary suggests that, and also in the Dhammapada, it mentions that the Brahma beings are Piti Bhakka. They are living mainly due to their mental food, and the tradition says that they don't have food. There is no function of Oja, so we exclude Oja as well. So based on this information, Rupa Bhava, including Asanya Satta and all the Rupa realms, Gandha, Rasa and Oja are being excluded by the Mulatika Sayadaw.
I see. Thank you, Bhante. No, it's just because I recall that when I studied Ayatana Yamaka, it was only mentioned the Asanya Satta. But as you mentioned that it is in the Dhatu Katha, so
right,
need to study that as well. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Right.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Please go ahead, Mr. Ananda.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan. I have actually just two questions. One is, is it okay to assume that ahara is always we get from outside and ahara rupa is happening inside or getting created inside? Is it right?
And it's when I say ahara, I'm not referring to the food. I'm referring to the ahara rupa is the element that is found in every kalapa. So ahara is found in the food and also in our body from our moment of rebirth. Aharaja rupa is a newly produced kalapa due to the interaction between the external food an external ahara of the food, the nutriment element of the food, and the nutriment element of the body.
I see. Okay, it's not necessarily always coming from outside.
No. But sometimes we can have our own body parts as eaten, and it may also give us some strength during the process of digestion.
And but the second question is rasadhatu. So rasadhatu is part of the
food. Part of the food. Part of the food, yes. According to Theravada, it's now.
Part of the food. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the food when we have eaten the food, during the process of digestion, a certain kind of essence is extracted from the food. That essence was already inside the food, or originally was inside the food. So this rasadhatu, sort of a liquid maybe, I'm not sure, contains a lot of nutriment element. So it circulates within the body, and this nutriment element directly supports the body. At the same time, it interacts with the oja or ahara, the nutriment elements in the body, and produces ahara jarupa.
So it interacts with oja, but it is not oja, right?
It contains oja. Rasadhatu contains oja.
Okay.
Rasadhatu is this rasadhatu is extraction from the food, and it contains oja. It contains a lot of oja. It's very rich with oja. Then this rasadhatu interacts with oja of the living body.
So, but can it be like things like enzymes and stuff?
Seems like, I'm not sure. That's why I'm not going to compare them, because they have different approaches. Seems like that, yeah.
So anyway, so we can treat it as part of oja, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, it has to be different rupa. So this is not a different rupa, but it is part of the rupa itself, part of the oja rupa.
No, it's the food. Out of the food, this is the food.
Yeah.
A certain liquid is extracted. I would call liquid, okay, anyway. Rasadhatu. This liquid is called rasadhatu. So this food also contained oja. There are particles, Rupa Kalapa. This food has oja. And even this rasadhatu is made out of Rupa Kalapas. This Rupa Kalapas contains oja. Also contain oja. So oja in the rasadhatu. Rasadhatu is a name for the entire liquid. It has kalapas. Those kalapas are with abundant oja. So that oja reacts with the oja of the kalapas in the body and produces new rupas.
Good morning, Monday.
Good morning, Sally.
So in your handout 2.104, you said due to the same reason, Vedas, Devas, and the pure beings whose body contain abundant of Karamaja Rupa. What is Karamaja? Is Karmaja or Karamaja?
Karmaja is the Sanskrit word, sorry. It should be Karmaja.
Because you put another vowel over there, so I was thinking, what means Karamaja?
I should be dropped. Dropped.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you for pointing out that.
Okay. So another question is, like what we learn for the Rupa Brahmas, for them, their food is piti,
Yes.
not like us, right? So that kind of piti can we also consider as ahara for them?
It's another good point. I think we have to because the Dhammapada says, Susukang vata jivama verinesu averino. There are 4 verses connected. Susukang vata jivama. So in the end it says, Piti bakha bhavisama deva abhasara yatha. That is the verse. So we consume piti as the Brahmas in the abhasara realm. So it shows that their piti of their jhana is also supporting their bodies to sustain for longer periods. So we have to include according to that statement. But as this I was quoting from Paramattha Dipani, the Lady Sayadaw was referring only about the 3 types of mental food and the Jivitendriya, which is responsible for their sustaining of their bodies. So that's why I didn't put that piti part, but as you said, we can include it. We have to include it, seems, based on the fundamental. And also it's very clear when we are very happy, when we are having a good concentration and when we are calm, we don't feel much hungry, right? So our bodies can sustain mental support. When the mental support is given to our bodies, it functions properly.
So that type of video, what kind of ahara we should take?
It's sort of a mental. It's not included in the 4 types of ahara. It's not included in material ahara. It is a support given from the mind to the body, mentalities to the body, like pacha jata pacha. We can include into pacha jata pacha, but it's a special sort of a support given by piti, and the mentality is connected with piti. So that is a very good fundamental. It's a very good point you are raising. So it seems like we can build and we can suggest. I'm not saying confirmly. We can think of a new fundamental, mentioning that how piti supports the body, as a special mental element. It should be treated separately because it's a fundamental theory mentioned in the teachings. So we have to consider as a special type of support given to the body. It is not included in any of the normal classifications. It's not any of the 4 type of food. It's none of the it's nothing mentioned in Patthana especially even. So I think we have to treat it separately. Because why have we have to state it separately? It's a clearly mentioned fundamental that beings in the Abhasara realm or the beings in the Brahma realm, beings in the Abhasara, what is mentioned, are living due to happiness. But then the question comes, what about the Vehapalas? So Vehapala beings are mainly born with the 5th jhana, and they mostly, I think they would abide with the 5th jhana mostly. So then we have to consider, is it only a phenomenon discussed about the Vehapala Brahma? So is it related to all the Brahma realms that we have to think about it? But it's a clear fundamental that piti supports the body in the place of ahara, but and also it's in the place of ahara, piti supports the body. So there are a lot of evidence to support this your claim. So I think we have to treat it separately. We cannot put it into any categorization.
Okay. So what about the asanya sada? They don't need any nutriment?
Yeah, anahara. They don't have any food. Their kamma is their food. Kamma is another good question. If you go into Dhammasangani, if I remember, Dhammasangani or Dhatukata. So it says that asanya satta anahara. Asanya sattas doesn't have any of the 4 nutriment. They don't have oja. They do contain oja according to the commentaries, but the function is not given. Kabalikara ahara function is not found. As they don't have mentalities, they don't have vijnana, manosanchetana and passa. So they don't have any type of food during their course. So due to the kamma, jivitindriya, kamma and jivitindriya, their bodies are sustaining.
So that means like when we compare asanya sada with other plants, they are the jivitindriya is stronger than other plants?
It can be said. Yeah, it can be said. Yeah, it's a good argument because they aspire to live a life without the mind, right? So in the other way you can say the mind is strong of arupa beings compared to the other beings. That's also obvious. In order to sustain without mind, yes, there should be some strength in their jivitindriya rupa. We can bring that argument. Comparing.
Okay.
Yeah, even such an argument was brought by Dr. Ryan once about the highest bliss. Is it the absence of the mind or absence of the body? When you compare it, is such an argument is a like it makes sense like that argument. It's a good sort of argument. Then why asanya satta is below the arupa realm if the bliss is lesser or higher? So likewise, when you ask the question, is asanya satta's jivitindriya stronger than the others, because others' lives get the support of jivitindriya and also the mental support, then the question, what you have to understand is, if the Brahma beings didn't have that support of the mind, can their body sustain? We cannot assume that happening, because they do have the consciousness. So when the consciousness is there, the support is given. Another point that would also like to mention is that even though a support is given, it doesn't mean that it is compulsory. Even though support is given, it doesn't make that makes that it is compulsory. For example, when we come into the, I think, Uttuja Rupas or Kamaj Rupas, we shall discuss about this. In some places, it says that Uttuja Rupas in the human body, Uttuja Rupas in the human or animal bodies, animate bodies, produce new Uttuja Rupas, right? Tejo produce new Uttuja Rupas. So it says that Tejo in animate bodies are supported by Kamaja Rupas as well, and Aharaja Rupas as well. So in the inanimate bodies, this Tejo is capable of producing Uttuja Rupas without any of these supports. So then the question comes, is it compulsory that animate bodies is the Kamaja support and Aharaja support is compulsory for the production of Uttuja? Even that process happens after we die. So it seems like, now the question comes, if the Kamaja Rupas and Aharaja Rupas were not there, were the Uttuja Rupas were able to produce? Yes, they will be able to produce, but not in an organic way, like our bodies would not sustain in a manner of living. It will be a dead body. So dead bodies do get rotten very quickly. So one can argue, if we objectively think, can Tejo Dhatu produce Uttuja Rupa without Kamaj Rupa and Ahara? Yes, it can produce. But in animate bodies, the support is given. Support is necessary in order for it to sustain in a proper way, like in a suitable way. So likewise, what I feel is, even though the support is given, now for example, think about the Nirodha Samapatti time. The mental support is not given, but still the body can sustain. Body can sustain with the Jivitindriya and also. So even though it's just for a shorter period. So when we think in such manners, sometimes I feel, even though a support is given, we cannot say that it is compulsory. So when the support is given, it gets stronger. So whether the Asanya-Satta Jivitindriya is stronger than the other Brahmas is something that we have to think deeply, but your argument makes sense.
So Bani, like you just mentioned, if there's no Kamaja and
Aharaja,
like a dead body, right? Aharaja. But like I have seen the Somo Seado's dead body. So even he already passed many years, right? So, but his hair still grow.
Still grow, right? Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I saw that.
Is some medicine is applied or what?
No, they just put his body in the coffin. So even we open the coffin and see his body.
Yeah, there can be some strange phenomena. Yeah, there can be some strange phenomena, which I'm not able to explain.
Yes, I was very curious about this. Thank you.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. The next question is, Bante, so someone likes sweet food, and somebody likes sweet food, somebody likes sour food. Is this sense of taste inherited from the past?
It can be. I cannot deny the fact that can be from the habit of past life, can be there, because that Upanishad should be there. But I think when my personal understanding is, when we are younger, we don't have any choice. We have to eat what our parents give us, right? So what happens is we get used to certain type of food, I think. So that's very obvious when we move from countries to countries. People in a certain country, the food that they like is unbearable for us, right? Same thing what happens when the people from outside other countries visit our countries. That food is not bearable for us, which we consider as very tasty. So I think, and also what happens to us, for me personally, when I start to live in Burma, I started to enjoy the Burmese food later on, and we got used to that. So I think it's sort of getting used is playing a huge role here, especially from the childhood. So because even while I was in Burma, there was some time that we like to eat Burmese food more than Sri Lankan food. So, which was unbearable for most of the Sri Lankans actually. So when we keep on getting used to that, a certain kind of a food, I think our minds tend to like it. And I think if we are used to certain type of food from our childhood, naturally there would be a tendency to like certain type of food. But I don't deny the fact that liking attachment to a certain type of food would not be transfer life, would not be effect in the future life, because it's also one sort of arguments brought by our Mahathera, Aridama Mahathera, discouraging monks to have meat, to eat meat. So one of his arguments, he said it's not a sin to eat meat, it's allowable according to Vinaya, but he said there is a possibility that we may start to feel attached to sort of a food, especially the meat, has a danger in samsara, a sort of a danger. That is, his argument was about the Porisada. So Porisada, if you know the Sutta Soma Jataka, Porisada, the king, no, he was a king, and later he became Porisada because he liked to eat human flesh. He was indulged in eating meat. He liked to eat meat, and somehow accidentally the cook gave him human flesh one day, and he felt it very tasty, and he said, I just want this food every day. And even though it was informed that I gave you human flesh, because I was unable to find any flesh, then he said, no, it's very tasty and I need it. So all the prisoners prisoners were killed first. Then he had to secretly kill other humans to eat that meat. Since it's very tasty, he was indulged and he couldn't give up the habit. And when the secret was revealed, the ministers asked him to stop it because as a king you cannot do this. Then he said, no, I can abandon my kingship, but I cannot stop eating meat, human meat, human flesh. So he became a cannibal. He became a cannibal. Then he took his cook with him and wandered in the forest, killing any human he met. But after some time, he couldn't encounter any humans. In the end, he couldn't resist his craving, so he killed his cook and ate him. And then he tried to kill by himself and tried to and ate the humans. So in the end, he was tamed by Sutasoma, the king Sutasoma, the Bodhisatta. Bodhisatta was able to abandon his kingship in terms to respect the truthfulness, because he gave a word to Porisada that he would come. So, but Porisada abandoned the kingship for the sake of taste. For the sake of taste, Bodhisatta was captured by him, and he said, "Please release me. I have a promise to fulfill, and I'll return back." So he went back to his kingdom, and in order to fulfill his word, he abandoned his entire family and the kingship and his kingdom, and he came back to the Porisada. So it's considered as one of the great sacrifices the Bodhisatta had made during his parami practices. So it shows that the two people were able to give up the kingship, one for the sake of taste and one for the sake of kingship, for the truthfulness. So our Mahathera's argument was, since meat is a very tasty, appealing food, it's very appealing. So if you get indulged in this, there is a possibility that in samsara also you can easily get attracted to this meat, this food. And if you are not controlled by Dhamma, there is a high possibility that you may get involved in killing and finding your own meat because in samsara there are a lot of occasions that we are without dhamma. So according to his argument was there is a upanisya force if we tend to like a certain object, and also when we are attached to some person, like in the story of Gosaka, his wife, in the first sight she got attached to this person. So the commentary says that was due to their living together in previous lives as husband and wife. So this connection, without them knowing, without their even with them being not conscious, they got attached to each other. Especially the lady got attached to Gosaka. So, and she protected him in the end. So it shows that liking a certain object, that craving is inherited within us. So it can has an effect. So that's why Mahathira was mentioning, certainly food like meat is very appealing. So this can be a cause. It's not a problem for him. He says it's not a problem because meat is allowed, and even Buddha has had meat according to the Vinaya and also stories. So it can be a force, it can be a supporting force, but since it is gained by killing someone else, this can, if we are unable to restrain this craving, there's a possibility that we may kill and find that. It's not like liking another type of food, because if someone has a liking for rice or some other vegetable, that is not going to harm anyone. But if someone is indulging in meat, and if he cannot restrain his craving, there is a high possibility that he may kill and obtain that meat. So that is another argument. So according to the question, it shows that according to Mahathira's argument, that there is there can be an inherited liking for the food. And also scientifically, the genes may also play a huge role, which taste that we like naturally. So it can be a nature or nurture, and both can be reasons for this liking. But sansaric effects, we cannot deny that. Then the question comes, if we are, because in samsara we are born in different countries, so shouldn't we have likings for the likings we had in previous lives? But that's why I mentioned more than the sansaric habit, the habit that we gain from childhood is much stronger. It's much stronger. So that's why all the memories that we have from past lives are abandoned during our childhood. So we get attached. The craving towards the present object is much stronger than the effects of the past lives. So therefore, if we happen to have a very strong liking towards any sort of a food, that can cause us to like something even we are being nurtured in a different environment. So unless if it is just a normal liking, like we like all the stuff in our life at the moment, we have relationships, we have friends, but it doesn't mean that whenever we meet again we are going to be good friends, unless there is a very strong attachment, like what happened to the wife and Gosaka. And it also has happened to Yasodhara and Bodhisattva in many times, and also to Uppalavanna and Bodhisattva. So therefore, and also Mahamaya and Suddhodana, the same thing has happened. They have committed some bad sins due to this sansaric attachment. So therefore, if the craving is very strong, it can be an effect. It can be something inherited, the craving for food.
Thank you, Bante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And there is a very short last question, Bante.
Yes.
So regarding the piti that supports the body, which Bante mentioned, can it be Cheetah Rupa?
Yes, we shall discuss this when come to Cheetah Rupa as well. How the Cheetah Rupa is supporting the body. I'll be giving a separate lecture on this support and the discomfort it gives based on one sutta. given by the Buddha. Chittaja Rupa, PT produces pleasant Chittaja Rupas, and they do enhance this pleasantness of the body. That is one way. And PT also has the ability to directly affecting the body. And sometimes due to PT, it says that the body starts to levitate. So both the functions. Now, when Oja is supporting the body, in the end we'll be able to have this entire chart. Or when Oja is supporting the body, it produces new Aharaja Rupas and supports the body, and also it directly supports the body as well. So the mentalities also, they are capable to directly support the body, affect the body. At the same time, they produces Chittaja Rupas and affects the body. So Oja and mind, mentalities, have two ways that how they affect the body, directly and through producing new Kalapas. Oja produces Aharaja Rupa, mentalities produces Chittaja Rupas. So both are possible.
Thank you, Bhante. Yes, there's no more question, Bhante.
Okay. So I hope you understood the point. Now, next day, tomorrow, hopefully we are going to discuss about Akasa Dhatu. Akasa Dhatu, especially the gap between two Kalapas. Now, we have discussed everything about a Kalapa, the four great elements, the derived matter within a Kalapa, the basic structure of a Kalapa. There are some other derived matter that we have to discuss. We shall take them in under different topics like Kammaja Rupas, Chittaja Rupas and Aharaja Rupas. So now we have discussed about the basic unit of Rupas, the Kalapas, and now we are going to talk about their delimitation, limits, and also their gap. So then we understand the entire Kalapa. So we are going to discuss about the Akasa Dhatu. Then we move on to the definitions of Rupa. We still didn't define the Rupa based on the Buddhist teachings. And then we may move on to talk about Kammaja Rupas, which should be a very interesting topic. Most probably during this semester, I will try to conclude the Kammaja Rupas before we stop the lectures. Yeah. So wish you all the best and thank you for joining. Buddha Sasanam Chirantittatu, Buddha Sasanam Chirantittatu, Buddha Sasanam Chirantittatu, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu.